What's up guys, this is Jeff from Sorta Healthy, and today we'll be covering a little bit of a controversial topic. What nutrition advice can you give as a personal trainer? The reason this is a controversial topic is because it depends. But what specifically does it depend on? And what should I avoid doing nutritionally if I'm a personal trainer? These are some things that we'll be covering in today's video. Obviously, this video is meant to be useful for other personal trainers or health professionals. But the information that we go over today will also be useful to anybody who's looking to work with a health or fitness professional and accomplish a specific goal. You will learn what should be done from a legal and an ethical perspective. First off, let's discuss the two kinds of people who are likely to give you nutritional advice. And those two types of people are nutritionists and dietitians. So what is a nutritionist? Honestly guys, anybody is a nutritionist. Your mom, your dog, your neighbor with a PhD in nutrition, and you're all nutritionists. But yeah, seriously guys, in most places anybody can refer to themselves as a nutritionist and face no repercussions whatsoever. This of course in my world creates a little bit of a problem. You get people who literally have no education whatsoever claiming that they're nutritionists and that they are qualified to help you lose weight or achieve any other nutrition related goal. In my experience, sometimes they are qualified and capable of helping these people achieve their goals, and other times they're probably not qualified to make you a ham sandwich. So yeah, the issue here is that there's too much variability. Some nutritionists are just fine, they're good, and others are terrible. If you're a personal trainer or a nutritionist and you don't know basic facts such as, how many calories are in a gram of fat, a gram of protein, or a gram of carbohydrate, yeah, you don't know enough. If you don't know the basics, stop giving nutritional advice to people. It's unethical. And there are plenty of good ways to learn everything you need to know about nutrition. I've taken some college courses on nutrition, and they're so-so, depending on where you take them. If you're a personal trainer or a different kind of health professional and you feel like you need more knowledge on nutrition, the best thing to do is probably just to complete a nutrition certification. This will of course give you a solid knowledge foundation in nutrition, and it's good for the old resume. The certification I like the best is the one from Precision Nutrition. It's probably the most respected nutrition certification in the personal training industry, and I'm certified through them and I found the course beneficial. I was already pretty knowledgeable on nutrition before taking the course, so I can't say that it changed my world or exposed me to tons of new things, but it did reinforce my knowledge and make me a better coach.
Okay guys, now we're checking out a map of the United States, and this map is special because it's all about nutrition counseling laws. So if I live in a red state, it's illegal to perform nutrition counseling unless licensed or exempt. Pretty much this means only registered dietitians can do nutritional counseling of any kind in these red states. If I live in an orange state, it is illegal to perform nutrition counseling unless licensed or exempt. There is a non-RD pathway to licensure. So these orange states, those states you can actually become a licensed nutritionist, I believe. They're kind of the exception to a few different things that I was talking about before. I would make the argument that in most cases, even if you do live in one of these orange states, it would still be smarter to become a registered dietitian because then it might be easier to transfer your license to another state, but that's besides the point. Again, if you're in an orange state, you can't really do too much unless you have a license. If you live in a yellow state, it is legal for all to perform nutrition counseling. If you're a nutritionist living in a yellow state, you can certainly do nutrition counseling with your clients. You just have to be careful not to break any of the rules that we'll be breaking down as we go through the rest of the video. And if you're in a green state, it is legal for all to perform nutrition counseling, though there may be limitations on insurance reimbursement eligibility. So yeah, all these green states like California, if you live in one of those states and you're a nutritionist, you're good to go. Again, you're still not a dietitian, so there are certain rules that you definitely have to abide by. So what should you definitely not do nutrition-wise if you are just a nutritionist, regardless of where you live? Well, I pulled up a Precision Nutrition article to help us with that. So if you are not a registered dietitian or doctor, you cannot legally prescribe diets or supplements to treat medical and clinical conditions, prescribe diets to treat symptoms of medical and clinical conditions, nor diagnose medical conditions. So what happens if I live in one of these red or orange states, or maybe a different country altogether, where the nutritional counseling laws are more strict? Am I screwed? No, you're not. You can still present your client with information and tools created by registered dietitians. For example, I could use this portion size guide created by Precision Nutrition. Or I could have my client use an app like MyFitnessPal. Apps like these tend to be the most effective tools in a nutritionist's toolbox. So it's awesome that you can have your clients use them regardless of where they live. I'll go into a bit more detail on this later in the video. But I can't stress this enough, guys. If you are a nutritionist, stay in your scope of practice. and abide by your region's laws on nutritional counseling.
So yeah, if you're a nutritionist, you definitely should abide by these laws. I would say that if you decide to not abide by these laws and do something outside your scope of practice, you probably could get away with it, but it's unethical and it could come back to bite one of your clients or you in the ass. And that's not a good thing. So in recap, in most of the US and Canada, nutritionist is basically just a made-up term. Anyone can claim to be one. Therefore, if you are one, do the right thing and know your stuff. And if you are someone who's interested in hiring a nutritionist, check out their credentials and make sure to check out their work experience as well. Okay, so we already tackled nutritionists. Now let's jump into what a dietitian is.
A registered dietitian or registered dietitian nutritionist is a dietitian who meets all of the set of specific academic and professional requirements, including the completion of a bachelor's degree with an accredited nutrition curriculum, an internship at an approved healthcare facility, food service organization, or a community agency, and satisfactory performance on a registration exam. Roughly half of all RDNs hold a graduate degree.
So yeah, the average dietitian is far more qualified to do nutritional work with a client than the average nutritionist. I'm not going to get too much into what a dietitian can and can't do in this video because my content is mostly to help personal trainers and other fitness professionals. But in reality, when it comes to giving nutritional advice, dietitians for the most part can pretty much do whatever they deem necessary. Of course, if they do anything ridiculous or anything that would negatively affect their client, they could always lose their license. But if a potential client has any adverse condition, diabetes, cancer, hypertension, the list goes on, you need to refer that person to a dietitian. If you are just a nutritionist, as I am, working with these people is outside your scope of practice. But let's say I just have an average everyday person that doesn't have any medical conditions that I need to be worried about. Let's go over briefly what I would do with that person nutritionally.
Okay guys, now we're looking at the 4 steps that I take when working with a client on nutrition. And I'm going to take you through each point and expand upon them a little bit. So first off, I assess my client's nutrition goals. Do they want to lose weight, add muscle mass, or work on something totally different? I uncover this information during my consultation or first meeting with this client. And I definitely want to do it as early as possible because obviously regardless of their goal, nutrition is going to play a large part in achieving their goal. Second, find out what they're currently eating and drinking. Again, this is during my initial consult with the client. I ask them what they're currently eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snacks. I also ask them how often they drink alcohol or other calorie-filled beverages. For breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, I will ask them roughly 3 things that they commonly consume for each. This gives me a reasonable idea of what they're currently eating. 3, I have them record their food. I typically use MyFitnessPal, which will give them a caloric target to shoot for daily, and it will give them macronutrient targets as well. I strongly encourage all of my clients to use an app like this one when they start training with me because it will allow me to better help them. 4, help them make positive changes. Based on the information that we gather from their food journaling, I help them make positive changes. Maybe they're eating slightly too much on the weekends, or maybe they're not getting enough protein. By assessing their food journal, I can use my nutrition knowledge to help them make positive changes to get them to their goal. I find that these 4 simple steps will get me positive results with about 75% of my clients. The only people who don't do well are the ones that don't food journal properly. If I can't get them to food journal properly, even with a little bit of coaching, I will use a portion control guide, and the one I like the best is also from Precision Nutrition. I will include a link to that in the video description. There are certainly more details that go into this process, but now you should have a pretty good idea of how I do nutrition with a client. Because I'm primarily using MyFitnessPal and Precision Nutrition guidelines, this should work pretty much for any trainer in any region. If you're in a restrictive area, like one of these red states, you may just have to rely on sources of information created by dietitians instead of giving your own feedback. Keep it simple, stupid. The KISS principle. Guys, this applies to nutrition counseling 100%.
So yeah, guys, that's pretty much all there is to discuss on what kind of information a personal trainer should give on nutrition. At some point soon, I'll probably create a video where I'm actually going through helping a client achieve their nutritional goals so you can see how it would help someone with nutritional goals in greater detail. If you think that video would be helpful or if you want to see it, make sure you leave a comment down below. If you have any other questions, do the same. Leave a comment, I always like those. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe because it very much helps to grow the channel. And we'll be back soon with more very helpful content.